This is Coach's Corner.
Welcome, Commodore fans, to Coach's Corner, a production of Gulf Coast State College. Today, Coach Scovel and I will talk about the games they played last week, what's coming up, and how the Lady Commodores are doing overall. So, right now, still unbeaten, 9-0 coach, ranked number 1 in state coaches poll, ranked number 1 in the NJCAA national poll. Played 5 nationally ranked teams in November and they defeated them. So, Lady Commodores playing well.
Yeah, you know, we've had some games where we look really good. We have some games where we look like we need a lot of practice, and but at the end of the day, an ugly win is better than a pretty loss. We keep saying, and we've had several of those. So to remain undefeated with everything that we kind of started out, and to lose 2 of our best scoring guards, and to still be 9-0 at this point is kind of amazing to me.
So a great start. So y'all traveled up to Rome, Georgia this past weekend after Thanksgiving, and then played 2. So we played Georgia Highlands. Georgia Highlands last year in the national tournament was our first round game, and probably the toughest game we played the entire national tournament.
We definitely struggled, and they have a really nice team. We played well, thank goodness we did. I think if we would have been playing Georgia Highlands the second game in Rome, we would have been in trouble because we played really well. Maria Castro shot threes. Everything just was kind of, our transition game looked good. We executed well. We played good, solid team defense. And so that was a great win on their home floor because they got a great team. And like you say, they qualify for the national tournament most years.
So the Lady Commodores defeated them 81-55, won all 4 quarters, 23-17, 15-9, 26-21, and 17-8. So, and like you said, you already jumped to Maria Castro. 26 points, 6 of 8 from the three-point line, 10 or 12 from the floor. A breakout game. Played 37 minutes in that game. Yeah,
Maria definitely, was just the deciding factor in that game. She just really couldn't miss. She could penetrate. She shot the 3, and like you say, she hit 6 threes in that game and just had an outstanding performance. And if we can get some more consistent performances from her like that, then it's going to help us down the stretch. We're going to need them. It's not going to be. It's going to be nice. We're going to have them.
So, and then Bennett comes off the bench for you again and scores 15, 3 of 9, 5 of 16 from the floor. Yeah. So played 32 minutes.
Yeah, shot the ball well in the second half. Kind of struggled in the first half and then came back. So I was impressed that she could change, to struggle so much in the first half and not shoot the ball well and kind of, keep doing what she does and made some nice shots in the second half. So that was good to see from a freshman that she could kind of talk herself out of, an early poor performance.
So, and then O'Neill comes back and scores 12, 6 of 12 from the floor, 0 of 1 from the three-point line, played 31 minutes in that game.
Yeah, we've had, it was just a great team win there. A lot of people gave significant minutes, significant production, and we definitely needed to play a really good team. And, to hold Georgia Highlands to 55 points on their home floor, I thought that was an outstanding effort defensively. Looked good. Team defense looked good. We communicated well, and it paid off.
So, and then we have to talk about Lasagna Edwards because Herman will get on to me if I don't. We watched her play last year and get better and better. She scored 10 points for you that night also.
She's getting some points for us. Her and Jalea it's kind of a work in progress, playing that spot for us and playing in transition. And so they're adjusting to the speed of the game and the physicality. Being undersized, they both have to do things a little bit differently to score in the post. And they're getting it done, but it's still a work in progress.
So now we turned the ball over 20 times in that game. So.
That's still a work in progress too for the season, and hopefully we can fix that. So
now if we look at the shooting numbers, 8 of 13 from the free throw line, 61.5%, 9 of 19 from the three-point line, 47.4%. 32 of 63 for 50.8% shooting-wise.
Yeah, pretty good. Free throws need to be better than that, but other than that, those were good shooting numbers, especially from three-point range. That was outstanding.
Yeah, if you can get up 47%.
No, absolutely.
That's a great night out. So we burned a lot of fuel that night, but then we had to play Rome State the next night. Defeated them 73-66. The first time we played them early in November, we defeated them 84-47.
Yeah, we struggled with them the first time we played. It was a 2-point game at the end of the first quarter, and the first time, and this time it was the same thing. Then at the half we had a 5-point lead, and then they came back out in the third quarter and fourth quarter and kind of took a lead on us late in that ball game, and we were real sloppy. Don't know that we just didn't recover from having an 8 o'clock game to turn around and playing at 12, and we had used so much emotional and physical energy. I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm trying to figure it out, because I certainly would have fixed it if I'd have known at the time that would be the problem. But our communication was horrible. Probably the worst team defense we've played all year.
And so if we look at the quarters, Gulf Coast won 3 of the 4. It was 17-13 the first, 20-19 the second quarter, halftime 32-37 like you mentioned. And then they won the third quarter 15-12. And normally Lady Commodores in that third quarter traditionally come out and play very good in that third quarter.
Yeah, we couldn't get our motors going physically or emotionally and mentally, so we kind of paid the price for that game. We really, really struggled, and hopefully we learned some things about ourselves that, this group, we don't have that go-to All-American. We're going to have to do things by committee, and it's going to have to be a great team effort in all phases of the game, offensively and defensively, and we just didn't do it and never did get it going. We just kind of, I'm not sure that we beat them, or maybe they beat themselves in the end, because they had a chance to beat us.
And then we won the fourth quarter 24-19. So look at the numbers. Bennett led all scorers that night off the bench with 21, and 3 of 7 from the three-point line, 6 of 10 from the floor, 6 of 7 from the free throw line. For 21 points.
Well, I can't say that it was just one of those games. Really and truly, the two people that were the stars of that game were two people that came off the bench, and it was Fatou Dion and Tatiana Bell. We were really, really, really struggling with our team defense, and we couldn't stop their post game. And Fatou came in and did a really solid job by having some size and some length, and she didn't foul, and she got good position, got some rebounds, and kind of it helped us because they had a nice post player that was just having her way in the post, and I thought Fatou really made a difference there. And then Toddy just came in, and she's just so solid. Toddy, she gives you great minutes. She may not score a lot of points, but she's solid on defense. She's never out of position, doesn't get beat much. So it was kind of strange that two of our players that don't get a lot of significant minutes probably saved that win for us on Saturday.
And if you look at the stat sheets, you can't tell that.
Absolutely not. But if you were there, you would know that they were. And if you were at practice every day, you would realize that those two gave us everything that they could give us physically. And like I say, just the difference in the post, Fatou's presence in the post probably was where we probably won the ball game.
And that's good, because last year she redshirted.
Yeah.
And we've always expected big things out of her.
Yeah, we are. And Fatou is, she's battling some things, and this is a whole new game for her from playing in Senegal, and so it's not going to come quickly. And this year's definitely, as I keep saying, a work in progress. But at least the work in progress gave us 3 to 4 or 5, 6, 7 minutes this past weekend. You're just trying to pull out wins, and that little bit of progress that she's made on defending the post helped us win.
Well, and then if you look quickly, Castro with 10 and Emory with 10. Their numbers down a little bit, especially Castro's from the night before.
Yeah, our shooting percentage was horrendous, and I think she hit 6 of 9 the first day and 1 for 7 or 8 the second day. So the 2-day total wasn't so wonderful, but it happens, and just thank goodness that somebody else stepped up to the plate when somebody else wasn't playing well.
And if we look at the numbers, 13 of 19 from the free throw line, 68.4%, up a little bit from the night before. 8 of 24, 33.3%, down from the three-point line from the night before. And 26 of 74 for 35.1%. So those numbers.
We were way down. Execution was bad. Defense was bad, communication was bad, and so that we just kind of let the other team have their way. We gave up 66 points, and that was the second most total we've given up this season. Vincennes is the only other team that's scored more than that. So defensively, I would say that was a poor performance on our part.
So now if we look ahead, it looks like we're traveling up to Chipola this weekend, and we're going to play Friday and Saturday. We'll play Friday at 5 and Saturday at 4. We will play St. Pete, ranked number 7 in the state coaches poll. Yeah. So what do you expect from that game,
Well,
Coach?
very athletic. She's done a good job of putting some pieces together. Got a nice post game. So, that seems to be the area where we're going to have to really emphasize defensively, is being able to stop people in the post. So I'm definitely expecting some good athleticism. They have a nice team, and we're going to have to play well. We are not good enough to play poorly and win. So it's going to get us. It's going to bite us here if we don't get better on the defensive end.
So St. Pete, good. And then Saturday we'll play Eastern Florida at 4 p.m.
We've always had some close games with Eastern Florida. Last year with a really, really good team, they had us with about 30 seconds to go. They were up 1, and then the state tournament the year before, we pulled out a win. So we always struggle with Eastern Florida. So I think that in what we've shown so far this season, we get in these 2-day tournaments and we'll play fairly well the first day with a lot of energy and then really, really drop off on the second day. So I'm kind of excited about this test to go see if we can play 2 back-to-back solid games.
So, and then we're going to play at Chipola, which is
it'll be good for us.
Good for us. Their gym's different. It's freestanding goals like Northwest Florida. Yeah. So it's a different place to play.
Yeah.
Now, if we look quickly at the state coaches poll, Gulf Coast ranked number 1, Chipola 2, Tallahassee 3, Pensacola State 4, Northwest Florida 5. And first, second, and third have been there. Yeah. But you see Pensacola State now move up and Northwest Florida State move up. 5 of the 10 in the state coaches poll now ranked in the top 5.
Absolutely, and I'll be honest with you, on any given night, you could just take those first 5 and put them in a hat and pull it out, and it'd be fine whichever way you want to jumble that up. You could shuffle it, and the first 5 would be not much difference, I'm telling you. And I think, they're just granting us the number 1 seed because we haven't gotten beat yet, and it's kind of last year's victories that are probably holding us up there until we get beat. But we're going to have to get better, or we're definitely going to take those losses here pretty quick if we don't continue to work hard.
But you got to also look at 5 nationally ranked teams you've defeated thus far in November. And a lot of folks in November schedule's a little easier than what the Lady Commodores had played.
Well, that schedule definitely, you see if the top 5 in Florida are sitting right here in the conference, we might should have scheduled Georgia and Tennessee to get ready for conference play. But we'll see. We'll see.
If we look quickly through the panel conference, Chipola 7-0. If we look at Northwest Florida, they're running a 7-1 record. And if we look at Pensacola State, 9-0.
Right.
And Tallahassee is 8-1. So they're all playing well. At least most of the teams now not scoring over 100 points every night.
Yeah, there's some up there in the 90s, so we better get ready. I don't know if we put everybody out there all at the same time, we could score 90 in a game too many times.
But, Lady Commodores do play great on defense. So we got just a little bit of time, Coach. Are we still raising funds for athletics?
With the E-Team sponsor, we've just about met our goal there. I think we're about $39 shy of meeting that goal. That was $30,000 that we tried to get, and of course we're always trying to get advertising money. So anybody wants to advertise with us with signs or sponsorships, we'd love to have that. And so we're just kind of you're always trying to raise money. Always.
So with all that being said, for Coach Bruni Scovel, I'm James Baxley. I'll be right back, Commodore fans, to talk to Coach Jay Powell and how the Commodores did this past week and what's coming up for them on the Commodore Sports Network. Welcome back, Commodore fans, to Coach's Corner. Coach Jay Powell and I are going to talk about how the Commodores did this past week and what they got coming up. So right now, Commodores' overall record, 7-2. Riding a 3-game winning streak now, Coach, and receiving votes in the state coaches poll.
We had a good weekend. We were able to celebrate Thanksgiving together, and that was nice to be able to enjoy each other's company. For years, my wife, I say my wife and me, but mainly my wife, would prepare some type of Thanksgiving dinner for the team, a traditional type thing, and that got to be a little overwhelming. So now we take the team to a restaurant, and we're able to relax and enjoy Thanksgiving with the guys, so that went well. And on Wednesday at practice, Thursday morning at practice, Friday shoot around, Saturday shoot around. The men were to be a holiday, and for some of the guys, their first holiday away from home. The guys approached it very businesslike. I was proud of them for that, and it showed in the games. We didn't play perfect basketball, but we played pretty good basketball, and we were dialed in, focused on the task at hand.
So we played Albany Technical College Friday in the Visit Panama City Beach Gulf Coast Thanksgiving Classic and won 87-76.
The men came out and did a good job. Albany Tech presents some challenges, especially on day one of a classic like that, because they shoot the ball well and they're a fairly athletic team. St. Petersburg College played them on the first day of a classic, similar to what we did, and St. Pete, who's also a really good team like us, won by 6 points. So they're very capable, but the guys just did a good job. They kept playing. Some points of the game, it got closer than others. I think we were up 9 at the half, 8 or 9 at the half, and then able to win by 11. We made shots when we needed to make some shots. Defensively, we got some stops when we needed to get stops. So I enjoyed watching the team and coaching the team, because I felt like Friday we looked like we were progressing as we need to. As on a bigger picture, after our win against Spartanburg Methodist, that was a good win, we started talking to the men that, here's where we need to be against conference teams, okay? And we're winning some games, all right? We're 7-2, which is good, but we're not where we need to be to win conference. And so we're going to have to continue to win, but also start closing that gap of where we need to be in the process to be a championship caliber team. And I felt like Saturday too, especially in the first half and the first 5 minutes of the second half Saturday. But I felt like the guys are trying their best to make headway into where we need to be.
And if we look at the halftime score, it was 45-35, won that half, and then came back, it was 42-41 in the second half. So, like you said, the Commodores just kept playing and came out there with a victory. If we look at the numbers, Jeremy Harris scored 30 for you, Coach.
He's averaging right at 20 points a game for the season. He averaged around 14, a little over 14 last year. I don't think anyone doubts that Jeremy can really put the ball in the hoop. In the first half Friday, he had, I think, 22 points, so he came out shooting the ball really well. And that was another good thing about the guys, is that the rest of the team was unselfish, and they were aware that Jeremy was scoring the ball well. And so even out of our sets that aren't necessarily going to Jeremy as the first option, people were passing up a couple of, wouldn't have been a terrible shot, passing that up to make the extra pass or to get the extra drive, to get the kick to Jeremy, to keep getting the ball in his hands. So I felt like that was a step in the right direction of understanding how we need to play the game. So the first half there, that was good basketball.
And then you had Robinson that came in with 14, Murphy with 10, and King with 10 to follow up your scoring.
Yeah, Will's a very capable player. He's from Baltimore. We've mentioned him earlier in the year about how maybe a mix in between Kobe Gooseby and Leonard Smith Jr. in a lot of ways. And so I think Will, as he gets used to the speed of the college game and continues to adapt, that he's going to continue to do well and have a nice season for us. Dashane was back on it this week. He struggled a little bit the game against L.B. Wallace, the game against Sanjack. Played a little bit better against Spartanburg Methodist, but Dontavius Marshall really stepped up and played the point for us against Spartanburg. But this weekend, Dashane was back on it. He was dialed in, focused, creating for other guys. And when he does that, he's so good at creating for other guys, then he ends up getting opportunities himself.
Now, we had to point out, Commodores only turned the ball over 7 times in 40 minutes of basketball.
I hate to ever, you don't want to jinx your team on stuff like that. But they've been okay. And then on Saturday, one thing that allowed us against Central Georgia Tech to balloon the lead out to over 20 early in the second half is that their half-court trap had given some teams problems. Three-quarter court trap had given teams problems, and our guys handled that pretty well. Of course, that goes back to Dashane, Dontavius a little bit, Van, Jeremy, those guys handling the ball and kind of setting the tone when they have the ball that, hey, we're college basketball players. We're going to be confident. We're going to be firm with the basketball, and we're going to make good decisions.
Now, if we look at the next day, we beat Central Georgia Tech 76-63. At halftime, 40-21. They actually won the second half, 42-36. Was that the half-court trap that was given you in the second half?
No, it wasn't. We were up 19 at the half, and it ballooned up to about 25 or 26 in the first 5 minutes of the second half. We got up early. We'll saw you there. I got the guys up early because I thought that there was some stuff we needed to do early in the morning in the community, and that ended up kind of changing our day from where we thought it would be. It ended up being a little bit longer day than we anticipated, and probably the last 13 or 14 minutes of the game. It's not what you want to see as the coach, but we kind of, I guess, took our foot off the gas pedal a little bit, is what you'd say, and it went from, like I say, the mid-20s down to 13, but went over a good Central Georgia Tech team by 13 points at home on Saturday was a good win for us. And like I say, we just kind of didn't keep just going at them the way we did early in the second half when we ballooned the lead out, but overall a good performance.
And then we look, Jeremy Harris didn't lead scoring, but we're going to talk about him first. Had 17 points, had a double-double, and 11 rebounds. So 2 back-to-back, pretty good night.
Yeah, Jeremy's a fine player. He can put the ball in the hoop. His defense, I think he's concentrating on that and very much trying to become a better defender. He's so long and he's so athletic. He could be just as good on the defensive end as he is on the offensive end. He's so gifted. So it's fun to watch him and his game mature and develop. And we're expecting and of course needing, no sense in hiding that, needing big things from him the rest of the year.
So, and then Van Johnson come off the bench for you to score 19 that night.
Van shot the ball well Saturday, got to the rim a few times and finished. Van's always been a man that plays very hard. Over the season, he got up a bunch of shots every day, so thousands of shots over the summer as a whole, and he's starting to see some of the benefits of the hard work he put in.
And so I only turned the ball over 12 times in that game. So,
as a general rule, I've kind of said 14 or less. There might be one play late in the game that could beat you, but just in the general sense of basketball, 14 turnovers or less for a game, a men's basketball game, the turnovers aren't going to be what cost you the game. Because men are going to make some mistakes. That's just the way it is. And so both games, the guys did a good job.
They did that. If we look at scoring, 18 or 24 from the free throw line for 75%. 6 of 18 from the three-point line for 33.3, and 26 of 62 from the floor for 41.9% shooting for the day.
For the season, we're right at 43% from the field. We would love to get that up to 45, but 43 to 47 is somewhere in the range of acceptable for the season. But once you get to playing, that's make one more shot per game type thing. So it's hard to split hairs and get 2 up in arms one way or the other if you're in that 43 to 47% range. We would love to get our 3-point percentage up to 35% or higher for the season. That's going to be hard to do because 3 or 4 games ago we went 1 of 21. So it's going to be hard to overcome that and get the season statistics up to where we want it to be. But the men are capable of being very good shooters. So we just have to remain confident and keep getting reps in practice, and we'll be all right.
Now, we only have one game this week. It will be Tuesday at 6 p.m. in the Billy Harrison Fieldhouse, and we'll play Enterprise State. What do we know about them, Coach?
We've only been able to get one game film so far. The last I checked, they were 2-3 on the season. They always have some pretty good guards that can play. I'm not for sure about their post players right now. Coach Jackson and Coach Vogler, as we speak, are working on the scout to make sure that we're as prepared as we can be for Enterprise for the Boll Weevils tomorrow night at home. I'm glad we were able to pick this game up, or we were looking at an entire almost 2-week span without a game. So however the game turns out, it's good for us to be able to get on the court tomorrow night at 6 o'clock to play Enterprise State. And like you said, we have Friday and Saturday off. We get back on the court at home on December 8th. So it'll be awkward. We will probably take Wednesday off, practice Thursday, Friday, Saturday, take Sunday off as is customary in our program, and then get ready because starting December 8th, we're on it pretty good until the end of the term. I think we play a day, rest a day, play back-to-back, then have about 3 or 4 days of preparation and play back-to-back again. So we need to make good use of the time to get better and to make sure that we have our legs under us for that last stretch before Christmas.
So, and then you talked a little bit about December 8th, which is far out there, but the ladies will play first and then the men will play. So it'll be a chance for the Commodore fans on December the 8th to come out and see both teams play the same night.
Yeah, we've been fortunate to have a few of those this season. It's harder to do than what people would think to have a women's, men's doubleheader at our level that's non-conference. And so I'm pleased and I'm happy that our fans are able to come out and get to watch both teams on nights like that.
So quickly, if we look at the state coaches poll, Tallahassee's ranked number 1, was 3rd. Northwest Florida dropped with that San Jac loss to 2, and Chipola's ranked 8, Gulf Coast receiving votes. Quickly, if we run through the panel conference, Chipola right now, Coach, is 8-1 overall. Mm-hmm. Northwest Florida is 8-1 overall. Right now, still ranked number 1 in NJCAA poll, but because that poll won't come out till next week for this year.
There's not a new poll on Thanksgiving week yet.
So that's the thing there. Ranked number 2 in the state coaches poll. If we look at Pensacola State, 5-4 overall. And then if we look at Tallahassee, they're 8-0 overall, Coach. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how everybody in the panel conference is playing right now. Just quickly, folks can still donate to the Commodores and helping raise funds.
Yeah, right? We've made some headway and had some good donations, and people have stepped up to the plate. But as you've mentioned a couple of times on the show, anytime people decide to put their hard-earned money towards what these student athletes are doing to represent the community and this great college, we're very appreciative. It's a great endeavor and it's a great thing. Our athletic department is, with coaches that are instructing men and women to become better men and women, and then also being very good on the court and on the field. So any help that anyone can give us, we would greatly appreciate it, and we would use it wisely.
So, with all that being said, for Coach Jay Powell, I'm Jamie Spaxley. Thanks for watching, Commodore fans, and we'll see you next time on the Commodore Sports Network.
This has been Coach's Corner with your host, James Baxley.